with Lady Blue Devils model girls basketball head coach Sally Echols, and we're going to talk about the upcoming season. Talk to me about your expectations for this team. I know you made a playoff run last year. What do you expect from these girls this year?
Well, I'm excited about who are returning. We lost 3 seniors last year, and returning sophomores and juniors with more experience. And then obviously my 3 seniors this year, Rachel Burkhalter and Briley Sims and Julia Shinholster, bringing some experience under their belt. So hopefully that makes us a more composed team, hopefully a more consistent team. But, they are teenage girls. But so really I just feel like the effort is there. I've got really hard workers, good girls, and effort's not a question, but playing with consistency and growing in our game IQ. So I think hopefully the return with the combination of experience will make us a better team than we were last year.
Excellent. Now, you identified a few of the upperclassmen who obviously will be in leadership positions, but who are some other players we can expect to hear their name called and that you expect to step up, even if it's underclassmen?
Sure. Well, Sadie Rawton, she's our best and purest shooter, no doubt. I've got Javia Samples, who's my slasher and fierce defender. And then I've got August Betts, who, made a huge statement, making All-State on the volleyball court. So that's exciting that she brings that athleticism to the basketball court as well. And then my younger ones, I've got several sophomores who I'm really looking to step up this year. Eva Pointer, Georgia Womack, Jada Wells, Addie Mathis, those who I really feel like will be contributors this year.
What kind of style of play will we see? I know you have to work with the personnel you have, so that can change year to year. What brand of basketball will we see from the Lady Blue Devils?
Well, I hope you'll see a lot of gritty defense, number one. That's kind of what we believe in, and that's what we teach. So we feel like if we start and do our job defensively, that kind of sets the intensity and the momentum that we want on the offensive end. I hope that we are a faster team than we were last year, and really just the ability to grind. I think that when you're looking at teams who can make it deep into the playoffs, you have to play physical, you have to play strong, and we'll do that this year. I think there'll be plenty of turnovers and mistakes along the way, but that's growing, and so I'm looking forward to that.
You talked about that intense style of play. Talk about the off-season training, and then at the high school level, you're dealing with kids who play multiple sports. So obviously, you might not have that complete roster together until just before the season. So talk about what those kids have to do to get in basketball shape, and then the work that's been put in by the team to get ready for the season.
Yeah, I think June is a huge month for us because we essentially play a season in the month of June. So we get lots of court experience and your team chemistry, which to me, for girls basketball, is the most essential and hidden key is the chemistry of the team. And then beyond that, I think that my players are putting in a lot of individual time in the gym. We talk about in the off season is the time to grow you so that we can be better when we all come back together. I'm fortunate that I have multi-talented athletes, and they do play other sports. And the funny thing is we haven't had yet to date. This is practice number 19 for the year and haven't had our whole roster yet. So that's the nature of the beast with injuries and, kids who came late from volleyball. And but, it's part of the game. It's part of being a smaller school and sharing good athletes, and it's worth the sacrifice for sure. But no, I think that once we get all the components together, I think that the off-season work will surface in season.
Excellent. Now, I know the season's kind of compartmentalized. You've got non-region play, region play, and then postseason play, along with the tournaments that you guys will play in. So talk to me about some of the challenges on your schedule, and then specifically talk to me about the Christmas tournament, what it means to you as a coach, the players. It's such a great tradition here locally, so highlight that a little bit as well.
Sure. I like the preseason or early season non-region games because I think it gives your team a little bit of time to work out a few kinks. Now it's a fast turnaround, so it's not like we got lots of time, but just to see someone that you don't see in your region play and have the opportunity to kind of tweak and prepare for region, because that's really where the weight falls in order to prepare you for the off season. We have in our region, we have a very good Fannin team coming back, a very good Murray County defending region champions team coming back. North Murray always plays tough. So I look for several teams in our season. Rockmart's great athletes. So I look for our region to be competitive, but I hope that, that will lay the foundation for what comes in the postseason.
And the Christmas tournament. Yes.
Yeah. So, the Christmas tournament is special. Being from Rome, having played in it, being able to coach in it, it's just a special feel. I still have former players who will text me and say, when y'all playing in the Christmas tournament, because they're coming home. And everybody wants to be a part of that. So it's a special opportunity to play local teams that aren't in your region, but it gives you a great tournament feel, which is your best preparation for late season or postseason tournament play. So I think that it's a good builder for the season. The anticipation, the excitement around it, the crowd, all those things, just part of the game of basketball that make it fun. So looking forward to that.
Now, I'd probably have some fan bases jump down my throat for this, but in the SEC, they say it just means more. Around here, basketball in Shannon just seems to me more this community. Talk about what it means to be a Blue Devil, the support of the community, and what's the magic behind basketball in Shannon?
I think it is tradition. It's a rich tradition. You look way back in our team room, we have pictures that date all the way back to, the early 1900s of teams for women's basketball that have played for here. We have alumni that come to every game. I think they just love the spirit of the game. They love the life lessons that it teaches. And it's just a super fun and very special environment. I know that when we've been fortunate to make it to state playoff games, and I still see, I saw a player who now coaches at Westland, and she played at Model when we played Westland several years ago, and she said, this is the best environment I've ever played in. To this day, she played college basketball, but I think our fans are just phenomenal. They love the kids, they love to support, and they love that blue. So do we, and it makes it really fun. It wouldn't be basketball season if you didn't, smell popcorn and sweat. That's the best combination.
Awesome. I am here with Coach Jacob Travis, head boys basketball coach at Model High School, and we are going to discuss the upcoming season. So, Coach Travis, last year, Final Four run. What are the expectations for this team this year?
I would say we didn't get to the Final Four talking about the Final Four, so the expectations have been go back to work. And yes, that kind of success does cause problems. That old quote, for everybody that handles failure well, 1 in 100 can handle success well. So it's been evident that that's going to be a distraction, that we're trying to get back to something. But in reality, we're trying to get better. We don't talk about Final Fours. The year before, we lost an Elite Eight overtime game, which is still a hard loss to talk about. So there's a sweetness to that, but it's in the rearview mirror at this point. I think this year's expectations are we've got to figure out how to replace the winningest player in school history in Jaquinnis Hurd. He's won more games than anybody in history at Model. And then at the same time replace another starter or two, and how do we do that? So we're talking a double-double guy with him, leadership of probably 4 more seniors that were day-to-day players, just great leaders at practice, great leaders, great role players, some of them. So we've had some bumps in the road, and the expectations are sometimes difficult. We're in our 4th week of practice without football players too, so that's kind of you look at people and say the end game is February, and how do we play well when it matters most? So right now the expectations are high. We expect to win. I think our guys expect to win. We believe in our process and all that. But for us, it's day-to-day, get ready for a scrimmage tomorrow with some of our most important players not there. So, yeah, coming off of that, yeah, there's a real expectation. People want to go back to that, but we didn't get there talking about it. So we're gonna get lost in that process, as the cliche goes, right?
With all that production graduating from last year's team, talk about some of the leaders and names we can expect to hear a lot of this season.
Well, obviously Jeremiah's heard. He's a big name and a big human. At 6'8", 6'9", changes every shot. If they're not in transition, he changes every shot. Scores the ball better than people think. Passes the ball a lot better than people think. So, obviously him. And we got other seniors like Riley Chapman and Javon Samples, who are great role players. Then we returned Noah and Steve. Noah Travis and Steve Stavarius Dallas, who are both point guard types. Little guys, but shoot the ball so well they stretch the floor for us. They don't make a lot of mistakes turning the ball over. Last year they really helped us a great deal of sophomore stepping in. So that's one of our answers is can we keep shooting the ball? Chase Allen steps into a void. Really good player, working really hard. Played some meaningful minutes last year in the run. Can he step into that role that Jakinis was? People keep asking that, and the answer is no. He's a different player, so his role may be better in some ways, but not as good in others. But you'll hear that name, Chase Allen, hopefully some. And then Owen Mathis, another junior. We've got sophomores who are kind of coming along, and John Miles Mason. So it's a hard I'm not even sure what the question was now, but those names are going to be interesting to see for us too. So you can practice and practice and practice and play summer games and play fall leagues, but then you're always curious when the lights come back on, who gets out there and performs well.
Talking to coaches, you roll with what you've got as far as your personnel. So with the guys graduating, what kind of style of player are we going to see from Model this season?
Well, we've become known as a zone team, which 20 years ago I'd have been insulted to be told that. I ran a lot of zone. But our zone does benefit us. It keeps people out of transition because we always say it. Nobody plays good transition defense. So we're going to try to keep a team out of transition. We're looking for a high-quality shot, inside-out approach. And, I think I want people to hate seeing our bus roll in. I just want people to hate it. So we're going to mix up a couple other things on defense. We're still tinkering with a lot of what we're doing, and it's kind of the hard part. Like I said, we're a month into the season almost. We haven't even had a practice with everybody yet. They're still playing football Friday night. So the good thing is that means we got good athletes at our school. The bad thing is I can't answer some questions even I have to figure out at practice. So we've tried a couple of new things this year, and I've already killed them. I'm like, no, we're not doing that. But it was worth trying. We'll see when everybody gets back out. For the most part, we want to do the same thing the recipe has been the last few years, and that's go inside out, whether that's on penetration or that's on just passing to the post. But we want to shoot the ball really well around those big guys. That makes a big difference.
All right. So you've got a bunch of kids. This is something the high school coaches have to deal with when they're playing multiple sports. So you got the core group of kids. Talk about their off-season training, what they've put in, the strength and conditioning. And then, if you would, let me know with a football player coming in. I mean, basketball is a different kind of conditioning. So what do they have to work on to get ready to get up and down the court?
Yeah, that you just said it. I think a lot of guys that coach in this area are very familiar with it. There's a lot of really high-level successful football programs. So for us, off-season, you talk about a few weeks in June that guys get to play, which is also interrupted by football sometimes for a kid like Jeremiah. But then you have to deal with how do we get him ready or how do we get Riley ready. And the reality is we practice 2 hours a day. Whatever day they come back to basketball, they'll have to play their way back in shape. And it's a good thing for them. I remember being a kid and practice being a real grind. So they're not going to have many of those. They're going to have less of those than they have games. So for us, it's how do we get creative at practice? You got to get really, really good at figuring out what matters most. And we work on shooting a lot in that situation. Shooting and running a lot, get us in the right kind of shape. And then we hope our defense and rebounding. The kids are hilarious. They think we work on defense 100% of the time. We work on defense a little bit, right? But emphasize it a lot. So for them, it's getting them on the court, staying connected as people, and then getting in shape. And it's a weird thing when they just rip right back into playing. There's going to be some bumps and sometimes some losses you don't expect, sometimes some just things you don't see coming. So with that, it's kind of a patience thing. I'm glad we're a playoff sport. If we weren't, I would be really high blood pressure. Not high blood pressure. I got it. Really high blood pressure.
Let's talk about the schedule. I know the season's kind of broken up into your non-region play, tournament play, and then region play, and then of course the playoffs. But I also, while you're talking about that, I want to dive into the Christmas tournament and what that means. I know you were a part of it as a player, and now you've coached it. What does it mean to you from both those aspects, and what does it mean to the kids to be a part of that tournament?
Yeah, we've got a really good non-region schedule with Temple coming twice. We got Temple playing us twice. They're Elite 8 Single A last year. Sonoraville Sweet 16 4A with everybody back. I mean, nobody's going to play you after a Final Four run. We got Unity down the street. We're playing them twice. I'm curious to see how well they've grown, how much they've grown with Davey coaching them. But yeah, people in this community circle the Christmas tournament, and they see it as a big statement on who you are as a team. I see it on another level. I want to win the Christmas tournament, but I see it as a really good statement about where we are in December before Christmas. Yeah, because we've lost it or won it sometimes, and in the end, it doesn't always tell us how we're going to finish. There's so many other variables, and so for us, it's a race. I like that Rat Race movie years ago with the Mr. Bean character in it, when he said it's a race. It's a race, and he's winning, and then he falls asleep. And I don't want to be that group. So the Christmas tournament, you win it, great. You don't win it, learn from it. You win it, learn from it. And for us, it's always been, hey, let's put this in perspective. Yes, we're winning it because we want to win every day. But it's a big deal in this community, man. I think it's the longest running one, along with Lanierland in Gainesville. And people really love it. They come back in town. They want to see basketball played. And I explained that to parents last night. Hey, I'm sorry, but we don't really get a vacation as basketball coaches, so you'll know that because you'll be at the Christmas tournament, you'll be at the after Christmas tournament, and yeah, it's a big deal, man. And I know people want to win it. We want to win it too. So I always say, yeah, it's a great sign of how good your team is in December. Right. So I try to keep it right there, especially starting your season kind of late.
Fair enough. Yeah. Well, final question, and I was pinning my preview for model, and the SEC uses the term "it just means more." To me, in Shannon, high school basketball just means a little bit more. It seems to, anyway. It's a special program you have out here. So talk about what it means to be a part of this model community.
That's a loaded answer from me, having played for my own dad. Sometimes I tell people I played for my dad here. Imagine if it was just Milt Travis. It was also my dad. Having my own son involved in it now, and my family comes back to games. It's a big deal here. We have a mission statement to inspire our community. That doesn't take much. And I have to tell our kids at practice, you took a dumb shot, you played a selfish play, I got news for you. Nobody paid to get in to watch you wants to watch you do that here. This is not the kind of place that wants to watch that kind of basketball. You go to a middle school game, they don't want to watch that kind of basketball out of our middle school team. People walk by and go, whoo, they got to move ball better, coach. And so it's a little touch of basketball heaven, as I call it sometimes. The expectations are high, so you have to deal with that. I already have those for myself and for our team anyway. But I don't know that people really understand until they walk in here on a game night, and you'll say, well, it's just a Tuesday night home game. And then there's a great crowd. There's a great atmosphere. Our kids and everybody are excited. I'm, of course, anxious about the game, but sometimes I have to stop and take a breath. It's a really, really special place to coach high school basketball. I know it's special to play it because I played it here too.